Hello everyone and welcome back to another F1 My Team episode, and today we're here for the Canadian Grand Prix. Round 5 of Season 5 here today, and first of all, if you haven't seen the previous race at Monaco, then go check that one out. I'll leave a link up in the top right. But this weekend is a big one because we need to try and bounce back, and this is another decent circuit for us. The AI are not particularly strong here, so we may have a chance of having a decent weekend, so hopefully we can achieve that. First of all though, the weather forecast, and we have rain forecast for the race. Towards the end, the second half of the race, it looks like we may have some pretty heavy showers, so that could be potentially quite spicy, so stay tuned for that. This weekend we do also bring some big upgrades on the car. You can see we're taking a big step forward in terms of outright performance, and slowly but surely we're cutting the gap and getting back into that fight for the top places, and hopefully in about 1 or 2 more races, we should be back on kind of level footing if all goes well with the upgrades. So, yeah, for now we're going to jump into Q1, and hopefully we can have a decent session underneath us here, as I do think we can get Q2, maybe even Q3. It depends what the pace, is all round, but I do think the car should be decent around here. So, you join me currently at the end of my first push lap in qualifying, and to be fair, it was a bit of a scruffy one, so what I did was I actually crossed the second sector split and then backed off to give myself another lap, because I wanted to get basically the first 2 sectors as a reference to aim for on my second attempt, and this was my best lap of Q1. So here we go, turns 1 and 2 quickly follow each other, so you have to make sure you sacrifice the exit of 1 to maximise the exit out of 2. 3 and 4, right left chicane on the limit, just about brushing the wall there on the exit, and we are 2.5 tenths up in sector 1. On the brakes for a left-right combo chicane here as we go for I think 6 and 7. Then onto the back straight, DRS wide open as we approach I believe 8 and 9. Right left again, very important here to be aggressive over these curbs as we run that to absolutely pretty much millimetrical perfection in regards to track limits, as we're now 3.5 tenths up. Down to the hairpin though, we do get it a bit wrong and just lock up, run a bit wide, and also we don't even make up for it on the exit as we get loads of oversteer. So a big issue there, big moment and a big mistake as we lose a bunch of time. Now then, the question is, what is the lap going to be? Into the final chicane then, throwing the car in. It didn't quite commit or carry enough speed as I usually would, and sector 3 has been generally quite weak as we go P11 at the time, behind both Alpines and ahead of Ilott and Lundgaard. Now at the end of Q1, we're currently P16 and on the bubble. I was on another push lap, but unfortunately, again, traffic, like in Portugal, is going to be a problem, as for some reason, since the patch, the AI just refused to get out of the way on their outlap. I don't know what it is, but they don't seem to react. So we had to go for another lap, and we've got a minute left, so we're going to try and squeeze 1 more lap in this Q1 session. Now on the exit of turn 2, we actually find a bit of time, and we are 1/10 of a second up so far. The issue is, into the chicane, I cut turn 3 and turn 4, picking up an invalidation, which meant it was going to be the end of our qualifying. So, game over for us, and our fate now is in the hands of the gods. P16 right now, who knows if we'll get into Q2. You can see here, I was going to improve by quite a bit more time actually. I lost all my advantage in sector 1, and then I found another 2 tenths in sector 3. So, yeah, I think with the lap that we did just there, we would have got through, but obviously it was illegal. So, unfortunately, we are out in Q1 in P17. However, there are 4 grid place penalties. One of them is behind us, the other 3 is ahead of us. Stroll, Giovinazzi, and Matsushita. So, we could potentially gain 3 places on the starting grid for the race already. So, we'll see what happens. There's also the possibility of more grid penalties for engine parts, being replaced. So, yeah, qualifying wasn't ideal. I think we had the pace for Q2, but I kind of bottled it. But for the race, we could be starting higher up on a free tyre choice, which could be decent.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Gasly, Sergio Perez and Leclerc, Ricciardo, Russell, Tsunoda and Sebastian Vettel, Ocon, Ilott, Martinez and Stroll, They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Latifi, Lundgaard, Carlos Sainz, they've taken a grid penalty. And Antonio Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, Matsushita, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Mazepin and Michael Schumacher. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Now we're starting this race from P13. We have a pretty strong chance of points, I think, today. I do think that car pace is decent enough, and we've got that rain arriving later to count on, hopefully help us out. So for this one, it's going to be an interesting strategy because we don't know when the rain is going to arrive. All I know is we're going to start in the medium and then judge it on the fly. If we can stretch the mediums all the way to the rain, W. If we have to box, we've got a fresh set of softs to go on to push before the rain arrives. So yeah, we're going to have to suffer it, but it should be fine. I think the key thing here is to not lose any places before the rain arrives, and if anything, try to gain a couple. So yeah, fuel-wise, we're running a 1 lap less. Bit of a gamble, but I'm trusting that we can save fuel. If not, the rain might help us at the end to get it back on target. So yeah, let's jump into it. Enough waffling, and hopefully by the end of this race, we've got some more reserve points. Well, here we go. Race start time. 5 lights at Canada. Now we're underway. Good start, to say we're on mediums. Everybody else seemingly on softs as we head down towards turn 1. We're going to go to the outside here. Maybe we can have a look at Callum Ilott as we try to get the drive out of there, which we do. We've got Sebastian Vettel ahead on a set of hard tyres as Ilott tries to fight back around the outside. Let's see if we can try and clear Seb, and then we've got some decent opportunities ahead of us because, of course, Vettel on that hard tyre won't be that fast. And there we go. That's exactly what we do. Now we can use Seb as a bit of a rear gunner as we now just sit behind the top 10, all of which are presumably on softs, and we're going to see if we have what it takes to try and have a decent race here this afternoon. So a good first lap, which I'm actually going to use to go up the inside of Ocon here, seeing as he's going quite slowly. Oh, a bit of contest, we lock on there slightly. Didn't quite leave the room. Ocon's going to fight back. I'm going to keep my ERS switched on. And look at this straight line speed. This is the engine improvement. As we manage to actually draw ahead of Ocon there. And there we go. P10 is ours. Let's try and stay within DRS range of Tsunoda. Now a bit of a race update. We are currently on lap 4. DRS has now been enabled as we set a personal best. The pace feels good. For the first time this season, I genuinely feel like we've got good race pace. The car feels good. It's responding to what I'm doing. I'm able to push and I'm comfortable. I'm also not overdriving as Tsunoda gets a bit out of shape. Worth noting, Ocon and Stroll were battling and they've dropped out of the DRS range, so we are now at the back of this train, which is currently a battle for P4. The front 3 have broken away, so both Mercedes and I'm assuming Verstappen. But meanwhile, we are sitting here looking at the back of the train that's battling for P4. So good points up for grabs. I've just got to try and play it right on strategy and hopefully have the right idea in the long term, with the rain, of course, arriving later on in this race. But yeah, the pace is there. Just got to wait a couple more laps to let these softs drop off and then we can start to push and make some overtakes. I wonder if we can get Tsunoda here. It doesn't help, we're all running in a DRS train. Our straight line speed seems to be improved, but it's still, lacking. If I can force Tsunoda offline, never mind, I'm going to switch to the inside instead. Tsunoda's giving me the squeeze, he's giving me no room to open up the line, so we're going to have to drive through him. But there we go, P9. Let's keep pushing, making that progress. Let's try and get back within DRS range. Or towards Russell if we can.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Okay, let's have a look and see what Jeff is suggesting. We are flying, by the way. What a lap this is, 3.5 tenths up, and I can see the guys on softs really struggling.
Got that confirmed.
I think I'm going to go for the soft in the second stint. We'll try and offset it. Planning for the rain. Let's see if we can get Russell into turn 1 here. Oh, maybe not. Just overrun it a bit there. I missed my braking point. Damn it. Big mistake, but personal best again into the mid-8s. Pace looks good, man. I'm starting to get strong. These softs are rapidly dropping on these guys, I can tell. So there's an opportunity here. This could be a similar move to the Tsunoda one. Exact same principle. setting up the hairpin, nice and wide on the entry, getting the cut back on the exit, and now we're just starting to pull him in on the straight. And Russell actually pits, which is going to compromise my line quite badly, but still, let's push on then. Bit of clean air as looks like Gasly and Perez are battling, so we may get a chance to cut the gap down to these guys. Now I'm expecting the remaining cars to pit this lap. Gasly got ahead of Perez in that sequence, and they both lost time to the point where I managed to get into DRS range, so that's worked out beautifully for us in terms of, you know, limiting the lap time loss. Now we've just got to make sure the pace is strong for the next few laps, because of course we're not pitting, not anytime soon anyway, so we've got to stay out and keep up a good pace and essentially run a bit of an overcut, and we'll see what happens, because those guys that pit on the softs are going to probably have to cut their way through traffic, so we've got a chance here to actually gain time on these tyres. So I'm going to go quiet for a bit unless something happens and try to set some lap times and see what we can do.
The virtual safety car has been deployed. Slow down and maintain a positive delta. There's been an incident resulting in a high level of debris on the track.
Okay, not sure what has caused that, but that is our chance to stop. Our pace was so good, by the way. It's clearly that battle for P5 with Leclerc.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Right, well, softs it is. We may not even benefit from this VSC, but still we're going to box now. Don't really care. That's the first message regarding the rain I've had all race. So let's push all the way into the pits.
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Don't speed. Right, let's do this. With VSC still out there, this could be a key stop for us. Very, very key in the championship. We could rejoin in P4 if this goes well on softs. This is a game changer. Oh, it's a great stop. It's a 1.9. Yes, we've done it. The crew have delivered under pressure.
We'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in our strategy. Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green.
And there we go. Beautiful.
Green flag.
Schumacher trying to benefit as well from the VSC.
Michael is in the pits. Michael in the pits.
Yep. But we benefited beautifully from that. Timing on that was absolutely perfect. Bit of luck on our side for a change as Christmas comes early. And just like that, we're P4 on the soft compound tyre. Now we just need to go straight to the inters, ideally. That would be the perfect scenario here. Okay, now this is going to be my fastest lap attempt. I'm going to see if I can maybe snag an extra point at the end of this race. Of course, I'm planning on rain to arrive, so nobody's going to get a chance to take this away from us. Not the best final chicane, but up to the line we go. And there it is, a 1 minute 7.5. We'll take that. I think that's half a second up on anything else previously done, so we'll take that. I've just got to try and make these tyres last until the rain. Well, I'll tell you what, these soft tyres are hanging in there. We're gradually closing in on Bottas ahead of us. Making progress and just closing in lap by lap, a couple of tenths a lap, and I've just about got myself.
We think we may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes.
Ooh, hang on a minute, that's a bit of Well, Bottas actually pits. I was just going to say I got myself, near to DRS range, but that is a bit of a curveball as we brush the wall of champions. I don't know what to expect now.
We're expecting you in around 2 laps, and we'll be putting you on the intermediate tyres.
Let me have a lap or two to think about this. I need to think. Tyre wear, not too bad. But Verstappen and Norris pit, so we're going to take the lead, and we can win this race. I need to consider my options. I'm thinking of staying out and just driving until the rain arrives, to be honest. It is going to arrive, the question is when, and then we'll just switch to the inters. But I feel like if we want to win it, we need to roll the dice and gamble, and this is our only way, because out of nowhere today, thanks to that VSC earlier on, we've got a massive opportunity here to cash out with a full race win and fastest lap. So I want to take advantage of that, so we're going to go for it. I've got nothing to lose. We're like 16th in the championship, so let's go for it. Well, never mind, our fastest lap has gone. Verstappen's taken it. 1 minute 7.4. And now Bottas has taken it, so fair play. Still, we can win this race.
The rain is a few laps out yet, but it is coming. Be careful. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Okay, that's a bit more encouraging. That is usually what happens. It goes from 5 to 10 minutes. back up to 15, and then back down to a 5, if not less. And I think we're at the stage where...
At the current pace, we won't have enough fuel for the end of the race.
Right.
Consider adopting a more conservative strategy to preserve what you have left.
I think it's going to be less than 5 minutes. I think it could start turning. Fuel-wise, we're looking at half. So we've saved that -1 lap. We're halfway there right now, but we'll save the rest in the pit stop. And also if the rain does fall down a little bit. Just trying to manage things now as the tyres are starting to fade a bit. Well, this is it. It's getting cloudy. It's getting overcast very quickly. But also Verstappen and Norris are quickly closing in. The gap now.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
This is it. We're at the crossover point. As Verstappen and Norris are going to arrive at the end of this lap. We need this rain to fall, and we need it to fall fast. Oh, Perez out of the race. That's good for the constructors. One of the Red Bulls out. Perez was running P5. Max, meanwhile, right behind us, and so is Lando. This is going to bring Bottas into play, as it's going to be hard to keep Max behind here, to be honest, with our lack of straight line speed. Here he goes. Not much we can do about that, unfortunately. And the rain is just starting to fall. Here we go then. Let's see how this works out. We're going to let Lando go. I'm not going to fight Lando. There's no point. We need to just run our own race. But if this rain falls, one of the AI will try and stick it out on the dryers. That could be an option for them. But we are going to box the instance. We're not going to waste any time. Just a question of timing this correctly. Let's try and stay out one more lap.
Flag.
Even then, it's raining quite a bit actually.
Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead.
Yep, one more lap.
Okay, clear.
We'll see now how the rain progresses. Okay, so we've gambled once. I'm going to gamble again. I'm going to go now for the inters. It's a bit early, but I'm hoping that at the end of the race, we find some performance. The reason I'm doing this is to hopefully finish on the podium. That's what I'd like to say, but if not, we'll take top 4, but we have to gamble. We've got to take risks in this race to get big results, and that's what we're going to do now. So for the inters, here we go.
Complete.
Another great stop. Not even that, 2 seconds on the nose. So great double stop here this race.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
The team have pulled out all the stops so far this race. Now that we've rejoined, track is on the dry side, so we're going to be off pace. But again, the idea is hopefully the last 2 laps or so to be very fast. So we're going to have to take some pain for now, but hopefully it will be worth it. I could have maybe gone one lap on the softs, but I wasn't feeling confident on those. And as the track gets greasier, it's more likely for you to lose the back end spin. So we just got to hope the track gets worse. Well, we're losing quite a bit of time now. Ocon and Lundgaard are catching up. The track isn't getting worse. It's kind of just stalling really in terms of, you know, the rain coming down a bit heavier. We've got Mick Schumacher trying to unlap himself, which just about says it all, to be honest.
Conditions are going to keep deteriorating for 10 minutes at least. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
10 minutes at least. That means it's going to go back to dry after. Not sure, but surely now it can't be much longer. The rain has to start getting worse. I can see puddles on the track, man. It's got to be inters. Come on. Give me at least 2 laps on the inters. I think we're going to get 2 laps out of this. I think we've hit the crossover right now. This is it. We need the track to keep getting worse, but this is the crossover phases. We get our second warning for track limits as I commit into that final chicane. But the track looks wet. The dryers are still working, man. I mean, I would have had to appear at this stage. I would have got a puncture, so you know I would have had to have done that anyway. But yeah, surely now come on the crossover. Give me 2 laps at least. Yeah, okay, this is it. Look at Ocon. He's completely dropped off on that exit there. I think we're going to run out. I don't think we're going to get there. The gap is really coming down now. You can see them both struggling through the hairpin. I think if there's a few more corners, I'd get them, but there's only the final chicane to go. Lando's going to win it. It's not going to be Verstappen, which is a small bonus. Obviously, we could have won this race, but it would have been difficult. I think in hindsight, if I'd pit for another set of softs around lap 22, that would have been the better option. But here we go then. Into the final chicane, trying to commit. But we're not going to make it. It's going to be P6, which is disappointing, but at the same time, I'll kind of take it, to be honest with you.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Now then, the race is done, and to be fair, it's a mixed one. I don't know what to feel about this one, to be honest with you. I'm really happy we got our best race finish of the season. 8 points to our name, which is massive, but I think it should have been P4 at least. I think I went one lap too early for the Inters. I think that may have made a difference. But I didn't trust my softs, in the greasy conditions, and you just don't know how fast the rain's going to change in this game. So it's always a bit of a lottery. We kind of got it right, but got it wrong at the same time. The VSC was a massive help. Having said that, I think even without the VSC, we still would have been in the race. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'm not too annoyed. I'll take a P6 right now. Lando wins it ahead of Verstappen and Bottas in P3. Stroll P4 for Aston Martin in his home race ahead of Gasly. Myself, Ocon, Lundgaard, Sainz and Sebastian Vettel scoring the final point. Missing out on the top 10, Giovinazzi, Ricciardo, Latifi, Matsushita, Alot, Leclerc, Russell, Tsunoda, Schumacher, Mazepin and then Perez out of the race. Worth noting that Perez DNF is a big one because the constructors stops Red Bull from running away with it. So, Drivers' Championship, we're back into the visible territory. We're up to P13 and equal on points with George Russell. I think the car felt really good today, and there's only 10 points between us and Charles Leclerc, so I think if we can start to turn this around, it's not over yet, but we do need to try and keep pushing. In the Constructors, we are 8th. We overtake Alfa Romeo by a point. Mercedes lead the Constructors, 19 points clear of Red Bull, so it's all to play for. In the Constructors, realistically, I don't think we have a chance. Schumacher doesn't seem to be as good as I thought he would be, to be honest with you. So, yeah, either way, we'll move on to the next race, which I think is Austria. So let's go and do some upgrades and hopefully keep turning things around. Now, first of all, my mistake. The next race isn't Austria, it's France. Now then, activities. We've got about 10 days till the next race, so time to get a few things turned around. First thing we'll go for is a funded team event to improve morale, moving into the upgrades. To go with that, we're going to probably go for anything that gives us resource points. No, so we'll go for a sponsor advertisement, and then we'll just do a quick driver promotion filming, and then a second driver external training just before the French Grand Prix. Now, to go with this, we do have, as you see, no upgrades planned until the next race. It seems like everything's going to arrive a bit later, as right now we've got nothing pending, because I think we just had an upgrade arrive just after the race, so we've got a free schedule here to upgrade whatever we want. Now let's have a look at the engine side of things. Power wise, the exhaust 1600, ERS, the bearings 667. I feel like let's have a look at the chassis really quickly just to kind of counteract these and oppose them and see what the options are. Hydraulics, front nose cone structure. To be fair, we're kind of not that far off maximum performance. I think I want to go for this one, the brake disc width. I know it sounds controversial, but the one that messed up my brakes is this one. So as long as we get this, we should be okay. So we're going to go ahead and get that on the car. To add to that, we're going to go down to the ERS. We're going to go for the bearings as well, and then we're going to save the rest of the points up. So before the next race, we should actually get those bearings come in. They're going to arrive on the 22nd, so hopefully they arrive in time for the next race at France. And the news is positive. The bearings have arrived, so we are ready for the French Grand Prix. I've got 775 resource points to my name right now, so we're going to carry that into the next race. Hopefully by the end of it, we should have a big chunk of points. And France is going to be a big opportunity, I think, for points again. My race pace is usually strong around there, so I think we need to keep pushing forward. We need to keep moving in the right direction. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this episode of F1 My Team. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more for daily F1 content on my channel. As always, A big shout out to the members of the channel for supporting the content, and finally check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. But that's it from me, and I'll see all of you in the next one.